while I have been given the kind of opening address, so to say, but I would start with, I've been given a very interesting topic of unlocking the power of CSR and what could be the possibilities here. I'd just take 3-4 minutes of yours and talk a little bit about Lupin Foundation, and then followed by some of the key areas that were, again, we have looked at as pointers for this discussion, and not really the whole of this topic because it's very vast and we'll be talking about it through the day. Now, Lupin Foundation was founded in 1988 by Dr. Deshbandhu Gupta, and we have been working for the last 36 years in the development space. We have created an identity of ourselves, working in 23 districts of 8 states and almost 5,000 villages so far. We have worked with 15 lakh families over this period of time and continuing to do so, hopefully for as many years to come. And then currently we are working on a specific strategy. Earlier our strategy was more wide and we would work on various aspects of rural development. Now we specifically focus on 2 domains, as Swapnali mentioned, the livelihoods, the agriculture-based livelihoods to be specific, and then the healthcare program. Agriculture-based livelihoods has been something that Lupin Foundation has been working from right from the beginning, because Dr. Deshbandhu Gupta, the founder of Lupin, the company, and also the foundation, was of a strong belief that people should not need to migrate from their villages and districts and towns to get jobs elsewhere. And we all have seen how, COVID has shown us what migration can do, and the kind of, we all knew it, but it just put it out in our face as to how difficult lives of migrants could be. So, but that has been the philosophy for the last 35 years, and for that, and India being a agriculture dominant country, that was the first place that we started with and have been continuing with our commitment to work on agriculture. We work with 20,000 farmers currently with a 3-year program in mind, with a focus on climate resilient agriculture and enhancement in farmers' income. So here we have chosen 2 districts, Dhule and Alwar. We strongly believed in this whole principle of intensifying our work rather than doing extensive work, and we'll also discuss that later in when we are coming to the topic. And we have decided consciously to stick to these 2 districts and work with farmers over there. And the 5 key things that we work on are water use efficiency and water conservation, which is, as you know, most essential for agriculture, because agriculture is also seen as a water guzzler. Then soil health. We all know that incessant use of chemical fertilizers, etc., over many years has depleted the soil health, and therefore working on it to create sustainable agriculture and continuing to support farmers with a sustained livelihood. This is going to be very important. Crop productivity. We cannot increase the land of the farmer, so what we work on as to how much more that the farmer could grow and earn from that particular land that he or she has. Market linkages. One of the biggest problems of the farmers, they are not able to reach directly to the markets, and therefore getting exploited in a big way by the middlemen. So that's a very important aspect. We are working through farmer producer organizations, building their strength, and trying to ensure that they are the ones who market products of farmers at the best rates. Then finally, the livestock health. Every farmer has livestock, and therefore improving their health becomes a very important aspect of our program. Now coming to healthcare, Lupin, as you all know, is a healthcare company, but we have not been working on healthcare for the first 3 decades of our work as Lupin Foundation. We started our healthcare program only three and a half years back. We started conceptualizing the program, and we only started working on the healthcare program 3 years ago. We did a formal partnership with Government of Maharashtra and Government of Rajasthan, and decided to work on 1 district each. One is in Palghar, which is close to Bombay, and the other is Alwar in Rajasthan. Here we are focusing on cardiovascular diseases, chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, asthma, diabetes, and hypertension. Now, why we decided on these diseases was based on a lot of things, national priorities. Very few non-profit organizations work in the domain of non-communicable diseases. Lupin has a therapeutic expertise in this space, and the districts that we had shortlisted. We had worked with data of some 9 districts, and then we decided to continue working with these 2 districts. Palghar being a tribal dominated district, very difficult to reach the entire population there. So, and we have seen tremendous response in our health camps. But I have a colleague from Palghar sitting with us today. He can kind of share more experiences from Palghar, but on every camp we have more than 100 people showing up, clearly showing the need of those kind of services that are not available in that district. Now, so the key things in this program are community-based screening for high-risk identification, then health camps through mobile medical vans at the government healthcare centers. We do not work independently, we work in partnership with the government, and that's also the sustainability plan for this program, to be strengthening the government healthcare system. So health system strengthening becomes an important aspect. We work through infrastructure development and also through capacity building of government human resources. Then behavior change communication for disease causes and treatment and lifestyle issues. This is extremely important because there seems to be very low awareness per se on, people still know a little bit about blood pressure, and that's what they call, but the larger issues of diabetes to some extent, but the difference between cardiovascular diseases and hypertension and respiratory is, people absolutely do not identify it as a problem, and they think that only smoking could cause respiratory diseases, while a lot of women using chulas are also very susceptible to this. Then counseling for improved lifestyle and health seeking behavior. So that's primarily what our program looks like. This is a 5-year program, the healthcare program, and we intend to build in the sustainability aspects and continue to work within these districts only until they, as per our understanding, it doesn't get saturated. Very difficult to saturate because 30 plus population will keep getting added. There will be more cases of hypertension, diabetes, etc. But from our end, we would still consider something that's, we have covered the district only when that happens. We have kept a target of 5 years. So far, we have screened 150,000 people when the program in Palghar had actually gone on ground 1.5 years ago, and in Palghar 2 years, in Alwar 2 years ago. Now coming to our very interesting topic, and I'll speak on the pointers, and one big one is maximizing CSR initiatives and enhancing funding efficiency. Now, for the past decade, we have seen companies, brands having clearly spelled out purpose, and all their strategies are aligned to that same purpose. So that's the company purpose, and therefore all businesses, as they have seen the potential in CSR, over a decade of implementing the same, some post the CSR bill coming into picture, some obviously doing it over many decades, but now there is also a very strong sense of operating with purpose in the CSR space. And when there is a strong purpose, there is no ad hoc short-term initiative, which was happening earlier. From a more philanthropic point of view, you do short-term, multiple initiatives, little initiatives. You have 10 crores, you spread 1 crore each at multiple districts, and that nobody seems to be able to track as to what kind of impact would that have. Now, here, the moment there's a purpose, there's a clarity on long-term impactful initiative. All companies want to do that. And this needs commitment both from the financial and programmatic perspective. So all your decision makers need to be together on that subject. What is the typical question 80% of our CSR teams are struggling with? Now, we have very limited funds. Amongst all of us to put together, we have very small amount of funds, and the problems in India, the social issues are huge. I mean, none of us have the capability of taking care, even if we pick a specific domain. All of us have picked domains based on our strategies, but none of us are being able to solve all the problems in that particular domain, in that location itself. Forget about spreading further and going to larger geographical areas. So by maximizing CSR initiatives so that each rupee gets utilized in a manner, how corporates think, how all of us think when it comes to our own investment. If we want to invest our money, we want to obviously invest it in the place where we are going to get the most benefits. And very happy to see that there's a tremendous amount of thought that is now being given to the way you're spending your money. As a CSR lead, I've been leading CSR of a company for over a decade or so, and I have also seen that shift on the kind of business like approach that is coming into CSR, and how we are constantly questioned, and therefore us and our teams need to gear up and work towards that. So we need to, obviously there's no direct return on investment, but there's a social return on investment, and we all need to constantly look at what is the social return on investment. We all are doing impact assessment, not just because the MCA has asked us to do so, but because we all understand the need of doing an impact assessment and want to understand, so what happened when we invested this kind of money, what kind of returns did we get. So, corporations with interests in similar domains and geographical areas need to collaborate. It's easier said than done. For me, it's slightly easier to say this because I also happen to lead a implementing organization. Lupin Foundation is a team of 600 people. We implement all our programs on ground, and therefore we have other corporate funding partners as well who come together on their our common topics of interest, and we implement our programs likewise. But for two corporates who are funding a third, say, implementing organizations, it's been difficult over years, and obviously that's the way to go. And I see there are agencies playing a critical role in bringing multiple funding partners together, and so that we could maximize CSR impact. That's the only way we could proceed. We are all seeking and talking impact, but that is unlikely to come in a sustainable manner without joining hands. So I think it's really, really important that we all recognize that we are all small players in CSR, and we need to come together to make that larger impact. The other piece that I want to talk about is prioritizing employee well-being. Now, in the post-pandemic world, this has become far more important and critical, and a lot more people have been discussing it. Of course, we have always had HR departments who have been doing something or the other in trying to improve employee well-being, but this has become more of a topic of discussion, and pardon me for using the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So transcendence is at the top of the pyramid. There's a 7-level pyramid in which your physiological needs, safety needs, etc., come much lower, and then the transcendence needs. Here it refers to the very highest and most inclusive or holistic levels of human consciousness, behaving and relating as ends rather than means to oneself, to significant others, to human beings in general, to other species, to nature, and to the cosmos. So I think that level of people, typically we have the corporate employee who is very well paid and has all the basic needs taken care of, and COVID of course brought in a sense of insecurity amongst all of us with whatever financial capacity we had, negativity, fear, depression, fatefulness, fearfulness, etc. And counseling and the others for good mental health is something that the corporates have taken up and have been doing, but creating meaningful employee engagement and volunteering opportunities brings in and sustains that sense of purpose. Now the sense of purpose transcends from the corporate to the individual as well. So that sense of purpose at an individual level and in a good way to address employees' motivational needs in their day-to-day work. There have been studies that organizations with a good CSR program and with opportunities for employees to participate in that CSR program have been able to retain employees better because they feel motivated beyond their day-to-day work, which is primarily routine. Our EVP program, which is now 3 years old, has gradually grown and seen immense response from a large number of Lupin employees who are willing to brave the weather and undertake social. And this is not easy in most parts of our country. As you know, the weather is never favorable through the year. So, people are coming out and participating, and in not so comfortable conditions. We have many hours of volunteering work that people are putting in, and we are extremely proud about that. we continue to get feedback on the initiatives and how it is building employee motivations. The third thing that I want to talk about is actions taken or need to be taken by CSR leaders to drive sustainable change. Now, also, any successful strategies and innovations from CSR professionals to today's challenges, we have all, I think, all the CSR professionals in the room would agree with me that we have walked a very tight rope for almost a decade now. Very, very tight rope. Board corporates' expectations of quick turnaround because they have not seen social impact as closely earlier. So they want a very quick turnaround, and impact should come through very quickly, like it comes in business. I mean, it should show in the first year or in first 6 months, etc. And that doesn't happen. And then you have development sector teams, or in a lot of cases NGOs, who are thinking in the traditional format of implementing program. Isme to itna time lagta hai, this is how we are going to be able to do it, there's no other way out. So that sense of distrust between the corporate and NGOs, and you are left to navigate. I am sure you all agree with me. It has been going on for a while. It's definitely changing, and we have a huge contribution there. A lot of us, we have played the balancing role for both parties and making them, definitely a middle path needs to be carved out, and both groups need to be brought a few steps forward to meet and achieve the goals on a win-win basis. So what has been done or what can be continuously done to make this happen? There's a constant dialogue with the board and decision makers as to how social impact works. And that doesn't happen only in the CSR committee meeting, maybe sharing case studies, sharing information from other organizations, etc. So that everyone who is in the decision making position is able to stick to the goals, to the certain domains in the long term. That's how the impact would show. Engagement with the implementation teams, NGOs, to build corporate-like thinking, agility, return on investment orientation. You cannot just continue to do activities and just because you have done a certain number of activities and therefore your project is done, your work is done. That kind of an orientation has to go. It has to be impact oriented, intensive instead of extensive. It's okay to work in a small area rather than working with a large number of people. Best to be able to improve the life of even one man or woman possible, rather than trying to reach out to lakhs of people with very little impact. So there has been a lot of contributions from agencies, I would say here, in organizations working with both the parties in bridging the gap. They become the support system for CSR professionals. They have been working with us in building that motivation. I'll just take 2-3 minutes more. So here, finally, one interesting thing that was that I thought of covering was how digital tools are reshaping CSR efforts, including for greater impact. So like business needs constant innovation, so does development work. No business can exist without continuously improving you. We all of us know that how much corporates invest in R&D, in various innovative ideas, and we always need to be taking peer assessment. We have been, over a long period of time, we have started doing community needs assessment, and most of us are doing that before finalizing any project. We have been good at that. But have we started looking at it from a business standpoint? What are my peers doing? What have they been successful in? What is not so good, or maybe we could learn from that. That eye needs to be kept out. New technology coming in the particular domain for the for-profit sector as well. Say if I'm working in healthcare, what is happening in the healthcare sector for the for-profits? Is there, I'm sure there's constant innovation happening. We all read about it in newspapers, magazines, internet. That is something that I, as a development person, as a development team, needs to be aware of and see how that could be plugged into my program rather than working into a more traditional format of reaching out people alone. Now, Lupin Foundation is constantly assessing new technology in agriculture and healthcare domains and how it could be used to take services to the underprivileged at the last mile. We have portable diagnostic devices fitted in our mobile medical vans, app-based capturing of all health and agriculture data on handheld devices so that the field worker can capture it right there. WhatsApp-based support for super specialists based in Pune and Jaipur. App for farmer producer organization and their efficient business management. Because again, as I said, market linkages is a very important aspect of our program for agriculture. Smartphone compliant training material for all crop seasons for the farmers, because we have seen a lot of farmers using smartphones and access to them. What we are, and we all, I think, in general, I want to leave you with this question on, everybody is talking about artificial intelligence these days. And what in development sector, we would, in this year at least, that is one of our goals, to explore how we could bring in artificial intelligence and use it in our programs for efficient implementation. And any inputs from all of you would be welcome in building this up. I know this is the need of the hour for businesses and for development work together. Thank you so much, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you UBS Forums.
Thank you so much, Tushara ma'am, for wonderful insights shared.